Do you see yourself getting married to a woman again, or is it more of just a life partner thing from this point going forward?
So I haven't married a second time, but I'm looking for one.
If you look at all the numbers, if you look at a lot of the statistics, what it says is that men report higher levels of happiness when they're in a good marriage. Men report higher levels of income when they're in marriage, period. Meaning, I think they get like a 15 to 16% more. They're able to work longer hours. They have like an overall better quality of life.
Oh, we about to have a fantastic conversation here today. I guarantee it. Now, first and foremost, before we get started, you guys looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video. You already know where we're going to go with this conversation. But let me start off by saying this, is that way back in 2019, right, when I first started this channel, right, one of my mainstays is that I would do content. We would look at relationship content from all across the internet. And I'd be sitting right next to, the majority of the time, 90% of the time, a lovely young lady. And there was a multitude of ones that would come through and we would just do content together. Then COVID happened, and then I couldn't have another guest come in here. So as I looked across the internet for inspiration, I came across Abba and Preaches, and I had known about them before, but when I really took a look at the way that they did content, I was like, man, these brothers really got something, right? The way that they do commentary, the way that they can make you laugh, right? The stories that they tell within the commentary, super talented, and to watch them years later still have such a strong audience base is a testament to that talent. Nevertheless, though, the title of the video that they uploaded is titled Red Pillar Meets a Normal Man and Can't Believe It. So when they dip down into relationship content, it makes for worthy discussion. So let's get after it. Without further ado.
What's your age?
57.
Are you single?
Yes.
How did that turn out for you?
A marriage and 2 children.
And then divorce.
And then divorce. Yeah.
How long was your marriage with your ex-wife?
How do you know?
How would a woman know that you're gonna drop a 10-incher on her if she hasn't even...
What the fuck?
Are you trying to say that magic isn't real? I think it's because your woman has... When you come to Miami, you see the real nature of women. It's not your fault, buddy.
About 20 years.
How do you go from having a whole family life to coming back out into the world as a single man?
So the thing I refer to as the ladder of love. People walk up the ladder of love when they're beginning a relationship. They say, oh, I really like you. I'll do this for you. The next person says, oh, if you'll do that for me, then I'll do this for you. If you'll do this for me. Well, I'm not going to do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to do this for you. And then I'm not going to do this for you.
Yeah.
And then they walk down the ladder of love. And at some point, people reduce themselves to the passion and the love and that chemistry, that oxytocin, that thing that really draws you together. It begins to die. And if you don't have the basis for the relationship things that you love to do together, then eventually you grow apart and you either become people who don't like each other or you do what we did.
Before we even let bro speak, I gotta admit, me as a married man, bro, that's a scary reality. Not the fact that you grow apart, but the fact that you grow too close. He said like brother and sister. Everybody's so young and they so trying to pick a partner and so scared. They don't realize it's a lot more to this than just breaking up or somebody breaking your heart. Raising a family, living with somebody every day is difficult. I'm married myself. Have kids myself. I've been doing this for a while. And I'm going to continue to let this play because I want to hear this guy's opinion.
I'm like a brother and a sister.
Wow. Give a man a round of applause. This is why I often say on the channel it's so important to hear older men talk about their relationships, right? To talk about their marriages, because oftentimes there's an insight there that often is not unlocked unless you've been into those type of situations. Now, I will also say like this ladder of love concept is an interesting one because within the West, the ladder for men, right? The standards, the expectations, the requirements is long as damn hell. And I would say that because that ladder is more based off of objective things, right? Things that you can measure versus a woman's ladder or what she can contribute as love within a relationship is more subjective things. Femininity, beauty, nurturing, caregiving. The issue is outside of the standards and expectations of most modern men today. At the end, right? Like if a divorce was to happen, and it happens in 50% of all cases, the man's ladder is the only one that's in the goddamn equation, or at least most of it. And why? Because those are the things that you can measure. Whether it be that he was, had the most amount of income, and the tangible things is what gets divvied up within a family court situation. And my thing is, That, listen, if a man understands that going into it, right? If he goes into a marriage not getting a prenup and he understands that he makes the bulk of this, and if this was to fail, the burden of consequences mostly fall on him, I got no problem with it. My thing is that most of these men sign up for these contracts and they have no damn idea. They go into it for love as opposed to understanding that this is a business decision. But the concept of a growing of a ladder of love and then a retraction based off of certain things that don't get done here and there is why it is pertinent that there is a constant working on from both sides of how you can continue on showing up for each other. Because if not, without the reciprocation, that ish gonna fade. Let's go.
Do you see yourself getting married to a woman again, or is it more of just a life partner thing from this point going forward?
So I haven't married a second time, but I'm looking for a wife.
Why even take that risk?
Hey, yo, this is because whenever he talks to people that are single or people that are broken up, he's like, yo, why did you give it up? And when he's with people, are you suffice with this? Like, it's like there's never like a happy.
I'm gonna stop him. I want to go ahead and pretend. He said they go into it because they have no idea. Man, you have an idea. Ain't nobody getting married without knowing the possibility that this could go wrong. I don't think that's possible, MTR. I see your point, but where are you speaking from? What type of experience are you speaking from, brothers? A lot of times, y'all want to take advice from these people that's speaking from places of fear. They scared to lose. Oh, well, bruh. Good. Stay over there, bruh. You also they're scared to gain. The things that you gain. You sound like them women, bruh. You're going to gain family. You're going to gain your children. You're going to gain legacy. You take the risk with the woman that you love, bruh. This sounds simpish. It's so funny. I never thought I would be on this side.
These settings, you know what I mean?
So what he normally does is he asks women why they quit on a marriage.
Yes.
And then he asks men why they want to get married. Why not just be a life partner? Why not do the high value man? He's actually being consistent is because you're not paying attention to the gender.
The gender. Yeah.
Why even take that risk?
There comes a point in your life when you start asking yourself the question, what am I going to do for the time that I have left? And that's when you start viewing life very differently. You realize that there's a number of days you have left to live, but you want to decide how to make those days really count. I'm not thinking anymore about how to build an empire because I did that. And so when you...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's interesting because it meets normal man, but I don't think this is a normal dude. Listen, dude like this walking around in Miami with the colored goatee, the hat on that low with the Hermes belt on. I bet you he's a multi-millionaire, which is by no stretch of the imagination a normal man. Nevertheless, though, what I find is that in these high-value marriages, it's a lot different than the repercussions or the consequences of a divorce within, if you're middle income, if you're average income. The entrepreneur types generally much more risky in their way of thinking, ergo why they're an entrepreneur. Many have the mindsets of, well, if I lose it, I'm smart enough where I can just build it back up again. But the brother's points about end of life is so important because no matter the content that we see across the internet, no matter what you're trying to do to avoid or defend, right? Like all of our lives are finite and the goal is to be as joyous as what you can with your time on this planet because you don't know when this shit gonna end. And if you are closing off so much to the potential or the opportunity, and I'm not even talking about from a marriage perspective, there are a lot of dudes out there that are just like, hey, I'm going my own way, bump these chicks, but you cannot put yourself into a mindset as if they all ain't shit. Yeah, you should raise your standards and requirements of what you tolerate. Like, don't be out here getting yourself wrapped up in a Travis Hunter situation or making some high-value man mistakes like a Shannon Sharp. But an ardent belief that they all ain't shit while being so defensive and so protective, you will never open yourself up enough for the potential of letting a good one in, because they do exist.
Reach that point in your life, you say to yourself, what do I want to do? How do I want to give back? Who do I want to teach? Who do I want to mentor? What do I want to leave as a legacy? And then you say to yourself, who do I want to do that with?
When
a man loves a woman
and things don't work out, I think a lot of times people expect a whole bitter outcome. But what people also don't realize is that when divorce happens, men are like 60% more likely to get remarried. Not the women, men. And for all the shit that marriage gets and how much people shit on it online, I realize it's almost exclusively really an online thing. And when men who are divorced are asked about marriage, they speak about it positively. Maybe not their last marriage, but the desire to want to be married is still there.
Yeah,
and
he's not lying.
Most of them do get remarried because as you age, the prospects of a single man are substantially worse than the prospects of a single woman. So online, y'all can live whatever y'all want to live. Y'all can, I'm be with my homies. Your bed full of like male pubes. Congrats. Nobody in real life trying to do this shit.
Let's move in together.
Yeah, folks
Who's
get
doing
famous,
that?
and then they move on. They're not kicking it like that.
Let's move in together with my homie.
Right.
No.
We got like
Who
five
does
topics
that?
covered today
Oh.
regarding why you should never live with your girlfriend. Oh, you could be the biggest, most, I guess, tallest, most
God.
masculine alpha out there. Oh man, can we cuddle? And before you know it, time passes along and you're like, damn, you become I want to say the word cuck, but like you become kind of complacent because coconuts in Barbados.
Yeah.
You become like lazy in a way. But you think is why you should live with your
God
brothers or
bless
live with
him.
someone that's like a man because
Oh, hell no.
Oh yeah.
That's actually crazy. Let's go back for a quick second. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened and found out that there's
I see
companies
you
out
gotta
there
think about that for a
called
minute.
data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. They do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now. When I see Abba and Priest doing content on like Red Pill, right? Like, I always think like it's not Red Pill per se that they have an issue with, right? Because like, for example, one of my friends asked me the other day, and like, am I a Red Pill channel? And the first thing that I always ask now is I say, well, what do you think Red Pill is? You define to me. And generally people don't have an answer for this. And the reason for that is that the definition of Red Pill by most people is determined by the person that is giving the information, right? So when they're doing battle and they call it Red Pillar, it's based off of their dislike of certain content creators. I mean, you guys see my confusion when they talk about this moving with men shit. I don't know what they were talking about, and then to listen to this gentleman say this in the haphazard way that he is saying it helps me understand to a degree of the context of why they say it. Now, there is some validity of some dudes getting into relationships and they all up under their girl and they get softer, right? They start working out as much. They start to get that dad bod. Right? They forego some of their interests and their purpose because they get comfortable. And it's something about being mashed, right? Like your buddies, your friends, you go out, you're constantly challenging each other with like creative pursuits or, you know, with your work or your industry. Some of them may have sports hobbies, you know, like, yo, come out boxing with me, da-da-da. But in terms of like forming colonies to move in together, if that was the context that he was saying, then yeah, I just don't understand. What's this right here?
On a wonderful trip, which you should definitely do, I would suggest you to get a Surfshark VPN changer. Not only is the VPN changer going to allow to change your location of your device, and also the programs that you want to enjoy. Yeah, because you know sometimes you're trying to watch a program from another country and it gives you that message.
What is this man driving? That shit dope.
Oh, the program that you're trying to view is not available in the country that you are in. Well, I'm in the country that I'm in, and I want to watch the content from other countries. What do you want me? I'm a simple man. Surfshark VPN changer allows you to do that.
Cool.
Because you change your location with that, and on top of that, you can put that on any device that you want. Your phone, your computer, your laptop, your tablet. There's no limit. You can also save on your fare.
By the way, shout out to DJI, by the way. I got some of these mics right now, and I put them on me when I'm doing like boxing, sparring, and stuff like that. And the amount of technology, how easy it is today to be a YouTuber, commentator, content creator, right? Like, this brother's in a drop top with a damn mic on, with the damn rat tail on the end, and you can hear him perfectly. Absolutely insane what technology affords us here today. All right, let's just keep on going. Let's see what else they got. All right.
Scheduled programming.
I can understand that. There's some people that function like that. I don't think that this guy is inherently wrong. He's not giving up on marriage and stuff like that. He didn't give up on marriage. the latter. I do this. This makes sense to some people in the way that people view relationship. That's not how I view it, but I get that a lot of, not even some people, a lot of people see that. He's not like, these women. He's like, no, I'm still looking. I'm good. He's not bitter about it. It's not a red pill, I would say. He's just like, yeah, you know what? It didn't work. It decreased the ladder, and then whatever. I'm gonna look for something else. I'm gonna look for a wife. The complication of a divorce, you can be bitter very quickly.
Listening to this guy, two things. The first part is this young man's like, why would you get remarried? He's thinking about it from the fear standpoint, the outcomes that are negative when you have someone else.
He's just asking a
you
question.
get divorced. But if you listen to the man who's actually been through it, he don't speak with it with like this tremendous pain or whatever it is. He's looking towards the future and be like, oh, listen, I don't got much time in this world. Like my days are numbered. So what am I here to do? He said, I wanted to mentor. Who do I leave my legacy to? Who do I help? He's not thinking about Hugh Hefner trying to fuck, because that's just not. That shit becomes less and less content and joy as you get older.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be straight up opposition. Straight up opposition. That's what I thought it was going to be. Nothing but opposition between these two. But it's a lot of agreements. Y'all, marriage ain't as evil as people portray it to be. It really ain't. There's benefits in it. And I guess you can vet a partner for years and years. But you can still get cheated on. You can still get manipulated. You can still get hurt. And people also change. You got to look at it as going into something with someone that you trust at that moment. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. You guys are both benefiting. And if you're not, then why are you there? And if you're searching for that as your priority in life, you already messed up. Just work, guys. And it all comes. Just keep working. I can guarantee you it's going to come. Your stupidity going to bring it to you, or God will bring it to you.
This man's focused on is how does he give back? That's his words. And I identify with that because even in me in my 30s, I've already weaned off of that shit so much. It's generally dudes who have some level of dysfunction in their life who are still on that like, fuck bitches, get money up. That's it. So it's just, when you listen to him, you can tell that he's ready to assume responsibilities and to really be a leader in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of men on a smaller scale as they get older identify with that. And I commend that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it shows a lot of maturity. Okay. And I also want to give a bit of credit to the guy who's doing the interview. You know, we shit on him all the time because he does these interviews. He's always kind of goofy, and he's a goofy person. But here he is, not being biased and hiding this kind of interview. It's like, you know what? Even though this goes against the narrative that I have, let me just put it out there. And that's worth commending. And the last thing I'll say is, I understand the point of marriage is to be together forever. But that doesn't always happen. And I personally don't think that it's necessarily failure. Me personally. I know other people have a different view of it, but I could imagine plenty of scenarios where I'm potentially married with somebody for 20 years. You have all these happy marriages. You birth beautiful children. They grow up to be great people. Your ex-wife helped shape them in a lot of good ways, but you guys fall apart. Is that a failure? I don't know. I put that question to you guys. Would you guys inherently see that as a failure if you could imagine in those 20 years how many happy memories, how many great things, and see your partner reflected in your kids and being proud of your children? Is that necessarily a failure? I asked the question to you.
Fantastic question. And I think, like, again, thinking about the young man in Miami, and I'm saying young man, but, you know, he's obviously a little older, he might be in his 60s, but listening to the way that he articulates that answer. And, you know, I understand what Abba is saying right here, but what's interesting is that I think that he's commending the RP YouTuber, if he would describe himself that way, but he's commending him for showing some content and asking these questions, and it shows a different outcome than what generally the outcome is during these interviews. And he's commending the young man for showing that, even though at the same time they are reacting to this one guy's unique circumstance, they don't react to guys' circumstances who say that they will never get married. So it's like they, Abba and Preach, are currently not reacting to the other side of the coin where men say vehemently, I will never, ever get married again. So it's kind of like you're commending him for something that generally, and I don't know, I don't look at all of their content nowadays, but let's just take it from a numbers perspective. Last year, in 2024, over 900,000 women initiated divorce against their husband, all right? Within that same time, 300,000 men initiated divorce within that same exact time. Now, of the aggregate of those two numbers, we can say 60-ish% of those men.
Stupid. Bruh, people be all big on numbers. That's like saying, oh, Look at how many people actually posted a YouTube video, and look at how many people actually got paid from a YouTube video. That's so stupid, MTR. Like, if you let statistics really run your life, you would not have chosen to make these videos. You would not be out here making a profit off these videos because you statistically would not have made it. You would have chosen to do something that was statistically safe. Now you're telling other men to not make a choice based off of statistics. It's confusing, brother. I'm just saying.
Will get eventually remarried again. That 60-ish% is not a 90-ish%. There's a lot of dudes out there like, I am never going to do this again. And they have the horror stories to boot. My thing is that give the people on the platforms both sides of the coin. Give them the good as well as the bad so that they can learn from the situations or the mistakes that are being made. And so that with that, they can do enough damage to maybe not make those mistakes from these other situations going into the future. But to me, it's really about the stage of life when all of this happens, right? If you're like the brother that they're interviewing, he already has a successful business, right? Already has a certain level of stability, has already multiple years in a marriage and has kids, right? Like, so he can lead with a much calmer mindset, but there's a lot others that don't have this conclusion. And it's okay. We could talk about the men that want to get remarried and the reasons why. And I love that man's answer. Life is only but so finite. And even as I just turned 40, it's something, and actually watching my father pass away 2 years ago, it is something that I think about each and every day, how finite that my life is. So I intimately understand the reality of the finiteness. Is that a word? Finiteness of our lives, all right? But it's equipping those with the knowledge, baby. It's not to scare away completely, but to equip with the knowledge. Most people or most men don't even understand the benefits of utilizing a prenup prior to a marriage, and they allow the government to write their marriage contract. The government, like, they're known for doing things fair, right? The same government that created that wonderful institution we all know as the DMV. You been into the DMV lately? It's better now than it's ever been. But you've been going to the DMV in the early 2000s and the 90s, baby. You'll be there for 3 days trying to figure out what the hell is going on, all right? Knowledge is power at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to get to. Let's keep going.
Video about a basketball player. Okay. And it was always the same journalist that was asking him the same question. He was kind of sick and tired of it.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. You asked me the same question last year, Eric.
And his response was good because they didn't have a good game. And the journalist was always referring to whenever he didn't have a good game as a failure. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yo, you're always talking to me about this failure stuff. What are you talking about? So I should throw the whole thing in the trash?
Mm-hmm. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No.
We're gonna discard everything. We're gonna discard the whole relationship. That's where you have to quantify the bitterness that you have in the relationship. You have to look back and look at the positive sides of it. Yeah. Even some people that I fell out with, I could still see like
the positives of the relationship.
Moments. That person being covered is a bitch ass nigga, but like we had some good times. We can't go against that. I would not call the whole thing a failure, but there's certainly some things that made it fail. Yes, definitely. So this whole thing about the whole marriage is a failure or marriage is not good. Hey, something happened, it didn't work out, and then that's it. But I'm not.
But also too, we don't know the guy's situation. I'd love to be able to interview that guy on the street to ask him more about the situation. Well, what happened after the divorce? What was the revenue split, right? Like, what did you make? Because dudes like that got Bitcoin keys with all of their goddamn wealth on it. You heard? Because they ain't dumb. They smart with it, all right? Now, there's other dudes who get their shirt. You know what I think about sometimes? Tyrese, baby. Damn, that whole Tyrese. What more do you want from me? I don't know if Tyrese can look back on that entire situation and the lawyer's still knocking on his door, still charging whatever tens of thousands of dollars per month in order to extract funds for him to fund the ex-wife's lifestyle. I don't know if he would agree with this. You know what I'm saying? It just depends from situation to situation. I'm just saying the knowledge is power and don't become blind. Because although preachers saying, there could be good things in a relationship. Yeah, but at the end of that relationship with that friend.
That's the opinion of a modern black man. I'm going to leave y'all with that. I ain't got much to say. I judge brother, but this is only the first video. Thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Branded Hip Hop is out.